Hello, this is Dr. Peter Carter with the Climate Emergency Institute. I'm doing this short video on just one item, one updated item that I'll be presenting with the comprehensive updates that I have at the 2017 EGU, that's the European Geosciences Conference. What you're looking at here is the latest released this month, April 2017, estimate of the global warming resulting from national emissions targets. Uh, the national emissions targets under the UN Paris Agreement are called INDCs, intended nationally determined contributions. These are entirely voluntary. There's nothing legally binding about these so-called intentions. The Climate Interactive is one of a couple of organizations that have a website which posts periodically their calculation of what the INDCs, the latest INDCs reported to the UN, amount to in terms of future emissions and future global temperature increase and climate change. This is a nice, clear illustration that Climate Interactive provides. The target, which is now generally agreed on, is 1.5 degrees C by 2100 and after 2100. These projections by these organizations only project temperature increases to 2100. I'll talk about that in a second or two. Here are the latest projections Climate Interactive calls the national proposals, and they would get us to a 3.3 degrees C warmed world by 2100. Now, this does not include the extra warming from amplifying feedbacks. For example, carbon emissions from forest fires and forest dieback and thawing permafrost. There's a lot of extra warming that's going to occur as a result of global surface warming, certainly up to 2 degrees C, and it will be very large at 3.3 degrees C. So in actual fact, the projection will be more in this range, this possibility range of the Climate Interactive calculation. It will then take us to a 4 degrees C warming by 2100. This is the Climate Interactive's estimate of what business as usual will take us to. 3.3 C alone would result in the collapse of world agriculture, the world's great forests, and the world's coral reefs. This is definite because the IPCC AR5 reported that global climate change was already affecting agriculture, and in almost all regions of the world that they looked at, the major food producing regions, those impacts were negative. Research has been published since, led by UBC, University of British Columbia, which updated that AR5 research and found that all major food producing regions for all major food products are now being negatively affected by global climate change. 3.3 C would collapse the world's great forests. The IPCC AR5 already reported that there was widespread worldwide increase in tree mortality and forest dieback from increasing drought and temperature stress on forests. That was at only 0.85 degrees C. We're now already over 1 degree C from pre-industrial. It would certainly lead to the collapse and death of the world's great coral reefs, already at 1 degree C, we are losing 2/3 of the Great Barrier Reef off the east coast of Australia. That is a terrible, absolutely terrible global catastrophe and a global tragedy. Now, this is only up to 2100, you see there. Warming, of course, will continue after 2100, and a 3.3 degree C warming at 2100 would be an absolute commitment of over 5.5 degrees C. The calculation derived from the IPCC 2014 fifth assessment. Using their metrics, this would result in a 5.8 degrees C full equilibrium warming long after 2100, and that would be the end of almost all life on the planet. That's not only because of the extreme global temperature increase, but because the rate of this temperature increase and climate change would be unprecedented at any time in the history of planet Earth. Furthermore, at these degrees of surface warming, they would trigger massive feedback emissions, amplifying feedback emissions of carbon dioxide and methane. This would push the surface warming much higher than the projected 3, 4, 5+ degrees C global surface warming estimates. Life, apart from the most primitive life, would not be able to possibly adapt to an extreme temperature increase like that occurring at an unprecedented rate.